What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Thursday in transit edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock. Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Hope your Thursday's off to a great start. Thanks to everybody who joined us for a nightcap with Scone last evening. On the road today, on the way to New Orleans for the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters annual conference. Be presenting this morning with Jason Barrett from Barrett Sports Media on how to successfully do sports talk in 2024. So, jetting down to New Orleans. We're on stage at 9:30. We got an hour and 10 minute set, so finish around 10:40. Just as soon as I can get back to my car, I'll drive back to BR and get ready and get prepped for a show today. And last day, man, before LSU takes on Wofford in the Chapel Hill Regional. So, you know, we've tried to look at the regional from all different angles already. You know, previewed Long Island and Wofford. Today we'll take a closer look at North Carolina for certain, and to see how LSU stacks up. So tomorrow, 11 a.m., Tigers are playing regional baseball up in Chapel Hill. LSU traveled Wednesday late afternoon, got up to Chapel Hill. They practice at the stadium today, so they get an hour and a half, whatever it is, at the field. So the practice today at the field, and then game tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern. So looking forward to some postseason baseball. All right, y'all fire away. Anything you got, you know the drill. It's got the car on cruise control and heading down I-10. Kelly Gross, Cliff Nelson, what's going on? Dalton Barnett, Brett Guidry, safe travels. I see someone like Underwood 100% committed. Yeah, so Bryce Underwood, number one player in the country for 2025. He's in Nashville for the On3 Elite Series, which is kind of a conference type thing that On3 puts on for the top 50 or so prospects in the country, kind of teaching them about NIL, a lot of different stuff. And Bryce Underwood is down there. Up there, I guess from Baton Rouge, he's up there. From Michigan, where he's from, it's down there. And yeah, so just reiterated at On3 that he's 100% committed to LSU. I think his word was, you know, why commit if you're not going to be 100% committed? So when you're committed, be all in. Excited to see him, man. You know, I don't know the last time LSU had a high school prospect signee that was this highly regarded. It would have to be Perilou, right? I don't think LSU signed a 5-star quarterback since. I know Walker Howard at one point was a 5-star, maybe some services was a 5-star. But probably, right? You know, Ryan Perilou would be the best comp here for the highest rated quarterback. So, you know, Perilou was a great talent. We just never really got to see it materialize when he got kicked off the team before the 2008 season. And that's certainly one of the great what-ifs in LSU football history. You know, 2007, you had the championship year, and Gary Croton was the wizard, and, you know, they were super wide open and creative offensively. And then Perilou was supposed to be next. Perilou gets kicked off the team. You have the Andrew Hatch, Jarrett Lee experiment, and Lee, as a young player, threw a lot of interceptions. And so after that, Les went into a shell and was like, we're just never going to lose that way again. And so, you know, a young Jordan Jefferson played, and then a veteran Jarrett Lee, and it was really just toss dive, and really struggled to recruit great quarterbacks after that. And even when you did, like, you know, high 4-star like Brandon Harris, you never really allowed him to materialize to the fullest of his potential. So, yeah, Perilou, one of the great what-ifs. but Underwood would certainly be the next, the highest rated prospect since Perilou back in the day. Weston Weaver, Brant Roban, what's going on? 7-3 tomorrow. Calling it now. Okay. I don't love score predictions, but you're on it, man. I hope you're right. Shoot, Brant, I take it, man. I take 1-0, Brant. I take 16-15. I just want to win. Jason H, what's good? James McKinney, Wendell Norman, Merrick Mathern, Deborah Coward. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good to see everybody here. Hey, Charlie, Rocky, Killian, what's up? Thanks to everybody who was there last night for Nightcap. We had a good time. A little bit of an impromptu Nightcap. Wasn't planning on doing it. Right after the show ended yesterday, I jetted over. Actually, I'll tell you, I had dinner with Jimmy Lindsay and his wife Lauren last night. So, man, he looks awesome too. I don't think people know the full story. What happened with Jimmy, of course, the defensive line coach who got sick before the season last year. I've never seen the actual story come out, but he went through it, man. Very scary situation, but looks awesome. I mean, and I don't know if y'all know, but he got hired at North Carolina. So he's on Mac Brown's staff at North Carolina now. So had a lot of opportunities, a lot of offers. That's one that I really wish would have worked out. LSU hired Bo Davis, and I think everybody's really excited about that, to bring Bo Davis back home. But Jimmy Lindsay was the guy that Pete Jenkins spoke so highly of, and when Jamar Cain went to the NFL, they went and got Jimmy from South Carolina, and I mean, he's not only a great technical defensive line coach, but also a great recruiter. So, talk about what ifs, that's another one. But he looked awesome, man. He looked great yesterday. I mean, you'd have never known that he went through any type of health issue. So anyway, I wasn't planning on doing Nightcap because I got home about 8:45, and then I saw the notifications on my text line, like, hey man, you do a Nightcap? I'm like, let's go, let's fire it up. People want it, I'll be there. Brad David, are you buying the Missouri football hype this year? So Brad, I wish I had their schedule in front of me right now. I don't. I think because they have Brady Cook back, and because they have Luther Burden back at receiver, they won 10 games and then beat Ohio State in that bowl game. But remember, the Ohio State team they beat was a shell of its former self. Here's the thing that works against Missouri, and it's the same thing that's going to work against South Carolina and Arkansas and Mississippi State, is you've done away with divisions now. And in so doing, you no longer have the opportunity to have a one-off year where if your division is down, you can go win the division and get to Atlanta. I mean, from now on, it's the top two teams in the league go to Atlanta for the SEC championship. And I'm not saying you got to go to the SEC championship to be in the playoff, but it could be somewhat of a tiebreaker, so to speak. And I think we all assume that the SEC will get at least two, and in most years, probably 3 teams in a 12-team playoff. And in some years, a stretch could be 4. But, I mean, I'm not telling you I think Missouri goes 7-5, but is that a 10-win team that's in the playoff again? I don't think so. I'm really curious to see what losing Blake Baker does for that defense. And I'll remind you, LSU, which was certainly a great offense, but a terrible defense last year, went to Missouri and beat that team in Como. But, that same feeling I'd say I have that same feeling about teams in the old Big Ten West. I can't remember if it was the Legends or the Leaders, but you know what I mean. Like Wisconsin and Northwestern and those teams that would make it to the Big Ten championship game from time to time, they made it there because they were in a weak division. They didn't have to run up on Penn State, Michigan, or Ohio State. So Purdue, I mean, it's, you know, those teams, when you drop divisions, they're done. They're never getting back there. So I'd say the same about Missouri. So I think Missouri will have a nice season by their standards, but I certainly don't think Missouri is a college football playoff team. Bradley, I mean, especially if you look at the SEC, you know, I think we all assume Georgia, Texas will be there. You know, Carson Beck back at Georgia and the way they've recruited, Quinn Ewers is back in Texas. They hit the portal pretty hard this year as well. And I think those two teams, it would be a surprise if they weren't. So then you look and go, okay, well, if a third SEC team gets in there, you've got Ole Miss, you've got Alabama, you've got LSU, you got Missouri, maybe Tennessee bumping in there as well. Like, do I think Missouri's going to end up the tops among that group I just said? No, I do not. So, no, I don't think Missouri's a playoff team this year. Bradley and Graphia, Janet, good morning. Which Basil Hayden do you recommend? Yeah, just the straight bourbon whiskey. I do not like their dark rye. So I think Basil Hayden has it toasted as well, which I didn't think was great. Just their standard, you know, bourbon. You know, it's $30 bottle. It's a little bit lower proof, a little milder, so it's a, you know, it's a good sipper for people who are starting to you know, to sip and sample and taste whiskey. Brian Wynn, Bubba Smith, good morning. Brian Pinton up in North Carolina. Okay, man. Damon Gilmore, hey, Dad, good morning. Jay Borden, Jeff, what up, my dude? I guess I could be putting these up there. ATX, ain't no way Matt made it out the door in 8 minutes this morning with that fresh shave. It's not a fresh shave. As a matter of fact, I have my skull shaver right here to be able to shave my neck and my dome whenever we wrap this up. Not a fresh shave. So what he's alluding to is on Nightcap, kind of went through my morning schedule. I wake up at 5:30 and I'm out the door at 5:38 to go work out. I wake up, I pee, I go mix my amino acids, throw it back, grab my yoga mat towel, I'm out the door, put on my slides, and I'm out the door. Seriously, that's it, 8 minutes. Larry Garner, Trivia Carter, Matthew, do you miss when Gordy Rush used to be more involved in the show and the running bit? I'm glad that you noted that as a running bit. A lot of people never understood that, which was always funny. We'd always laugh. You got to understand, Gordy is a king troll. And I may have a little bit of that in me as well. So we got along very well in that respect. But yeah, the him busting in the studio and all with Shane McMahon, Here Comes the Money, like that was always staged. When he was going to bust in, why he was going to bust in. I mean, it was very much like a WWE skit. That's what we were doing. Do I miss it? Yeah. There's a few times I've asked him if he wanted to come on for whatever reason like that, and it hadn't worked out. But it's just as the company has grown and all of our roles have evolved, it's just taken us, you know, just different directions. Like, Gordy, whenever I started, Gordy was the director of sales. And then he moved up to market manager, and, you know, our offices were right next to each other. But as they've sort of continued to restructure and reshape and add to the company, et cetera, you know, his office is on the whole other side of the building now. And so I don't see him as much. Like, we have a weekly meeting on Mondays, but he's out on the streets a lot, with our reps, meeting clients, and going to downtown development and going to conferences. So yeah, just his time is grown. We're just not in the same building as much anymore. So Bob Poole, Shane D, Michael Cook, Gerald Mathern, Cajun Country, what up, dude? Good morning, safe travels. Yeah, man. Seth, do you think Bryce Underwood comes in, starts as a freshman? Well, it really depends what happens with Nussmeier, right? If Garrett comes back for a fifth season, then Nussmeier is going to be your starter. But what was interesting, when Ryan Clark was in studio a few weeks back, he said, better hope Nussmeier has a great year this year and goes pro, because you don't want to sit Bryce Underwood. So it'll be really interesting, man, to see how that all transpires. It's exciting, but either way, you can't lose. Either, Nussmeier comes back and you got a fifth-year senior quarterback and a two-year starter, and maybe you have a Burrow, Jaden Daniels type situation, Mettenberger, where that second year, as a starter, fifth year in school goes exceptionally well. Or if if he's awesome and leaves, then great. You get Bryce Underwood. You get this generational young guy that a lot of people are excited about. So, Rex, what's going on? Cliff, not no hat party details. Results game one. So Cliff, no, we're not doing hat party this weekend. So if LSU wins game one, they play game two at 4:00 on Saturday, and so we're going to be at Sportsbook at LeBaire Saturday at 7 for the UFC VIP watch party. So no hat party this weekend. The hope here is that if LSU advances, we can do hat party. I'm talking about the parish hat party, by the way. Do a hat party for a game watch for Supers. So fingers crossed. That's the hope. LSU wins this weekend, advances to Supers, and then we can do a hat party for one of the games for the Super Regional weekend. So, Ewell Sullivan, what's going on? Rocky called me crazy. I think Kelly is going to play the better player. Yeah, but what's to say a fifth-year senior isn't better than a true freshman? I mean, I'll remind you again, like I did all before the 2022 season. So many of you you wanted Nussmeier, and I kept telling you they didn't bring in Jaden Daniels not to start, and y'all wanted the talented young guy, and I was like, yeah, they didn't bring Daniels here to sit, and lo and behold, Daniels started for 2 years and won a Heisman, and your boy was right. So, in saying that question, I think, the question was more geared toward assuming that Underwood would be the better player, and I don't know necessarily as a freshman, Rocky, that's the case. Devin, what about Collins and Hurley? Colin Hurley, Ricky Collins. Yeah, listen, I'm assuming one of those guys will leave. It's not that I think it's bad or wrong or they're not good players. It's just the nature of the sport. Like, Garrett Nussmeier is the outlier. Quarterbacks don't just sit for 4 years and wait. So if you're Ricky Collins after this season and you've been in Baton Rouge 2 years, and Colin Hurley and Bryce Underwood have come behind you and then leapfrog you, in this hypothetical, yeah, I don't think he stays. I think he goes from where he's going to play. Colin Hurley's an interesting one because that's a guy that should be going into his senior year of high school. I don't understand the reclassifying. In basketball, I can kind of get it because you see guys that are seniors in high school that are more than able to play major college basketball. It's strange in football because another year of physical development is so critical in that sport. I don't know why players would want to go to college a year early. So I don't know. I don't know that that's going to serve Colin Hurley well. We'll see. I mean, he's a mature young dude, impressive young guy, and looked good in the spring, man. You know. So we'll see how it goes. But it's never a bad thing when you got an abundance of talent at the most important position in organized team sports. Michael, news on bringing back Scone and tea. Nope. Devin, how do we register for? Yeah, you got to. I'm doing it through the show text line, Devin. So, and I thought I saw your name already. You just text the word Diamond. That's Poirier's nickname. Just text the word Diamond to the show text line, which is 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Melanie Willis, safe travels. Heading to NOLA tomorrow. Fly to Disney. Okay, Melanie. Awesome. Y'all be safe as well. Gerald, if I knew you were coming to New Orleans, I would have taken off and met you at the corner store. So Gerald was on the bus tour, the brewery bus tour we did a couple years back. It was sort of a whiskey and beer tour. We did Avenue Pub, and then went to we did Sazerac House, Avenue Pub, and then Urban South. Well, Gerald and I were waiting for the bus to come pick us up from Sazerac House to take us to Avenue Pub. And everybody's getting on the bus or standing on the street corner. Gerald and I walked to like the corner store on Canal and bought a couple of tall boy beers, a bunch of 24-ounce tall boys. We weren't waiting, bro. Brent, what's going on? What program you're running? Facebook? Yeah, so it's called StreamYard. So StreamYard is it's a software that allows you to send one stream to multiple social media platforms. So I'm sending to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, but I mean there's 20 social media platforms listed that you can send one feed to. So it allows it all to aggregate, allows me to put the comments on the screen like that, allows me to put the logos up here. You normally have a scroll at the bottom. I think will hang on. There you go. Forgot that earlier. The scroll at the bottom. So anyway, StreamYard. So Devin, don't think I've done it. Yeah, Devin, maybe there's another Devin Kelly. That entered. I gotta go check it, but I'm almost because I have to manually log every name that texts the line. So I have a spreadsheet of everyone that sends in their entry. I have it logged, and then I'll go put it in the randomizer. We'll pick 8 winners today. So yeah, man, Saturday, UFC 302, Dustin Poirier against Islam Makhachev. We'll be at the Sportsbook at L'Auberge, starting at 7 for the ESPN undercards. Now they've got the prelims on Plus, but we'll be there to start at 7 for the undercard, and then of course the main event, which will start at 9. It'll run 2.5 hours. So it'll be a long night, but it'll be a fun night too, man. Watch the fights and hopefully a really good card. Excuse me. And so yeah, we'll pick our 8 winners today. Our 8 winners. It's a winner. Each winner gets 2 guests, which will get VIP table seating in front of the big screen. And there at the Sportsbook, you'll have free night. There'll be a buffet set up, so free food for the night, and then Bud Light's official beer of AFR, official beer of UFC. Dustin Poirier just signed on as an endorser as well. So our Mockler friends will be out there with a bunch of swag. I'll be out there with some ESPN swag as well. So completely open to the public. You don't have to win to come out. I mean, just come out, watch the fights, and hang out with us. But the VIP portion of it, that's limited to the 8 winners and their guests. So anyway, okay, y'all. I think we're just about done. On the spillway now, headed to NOLA. Go do the speaking engagement, then head right back and be downtown BR for the show today. So we'll look forward to seeing y'all then. Please smash that like button if you would. Subscribe up to the channel on YouTube, Facebook, like the Map Scone page, share the post. We appreciate y'all very, very much. And as always, shout out to Brock. If you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. Need a roof, you give us a shout at Parrish Construction and Roofing. There it is. Parrish. There it is. Parrishbuilt.com. Parrishbuilt.com. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. We'll see you for AFR3. Peace.